Who comes to mind when someone says a popular artist on TikTok? Well, a lot of people think of Melanie Martinez. A few years ago, I couldn't escape her on my For You page. There were a million trends going on following her music or using her music. There were tons of edits of her, and overall, she was blowing up. But now, all I see are hate videos, or videos coming straight at her with new accusations after accusation. It is the only thing I see about Melanie on TikTok anymore. So what exactly has Melanie done in the past year?
So this is a dress that she wore for her Pacify Her music video.
This is not an issue of media literacy.
There are a lot of accusations going around. I'm going to remain as unbiased as possible in this video and just really go over the different things being said and kind of see what could be true or not. I am not a Melanie Martinez fan. I don't really like her music personally. Yes, I've listened to all 3 of her albums and I just don't like them personally. They're not my thing. But if they're yours, that's your thing. I don't really care. With that, let's get into the different accusations. Some and most are about Melanie personally, but some are about her fan base being very, very toxic. Please don't make that true in my comments. Be respectful and polite no matter what argument you're making. Do not say anything awful to someone. Please remain respectful. And with that, let's get into it. But first, I have a quick announcement before we get into the video. Mustafa, the injured Palestinian I've been helping, his percentage is rising and you can be part of the group that helps get his daughter's food. And if you haven't donated yet or you can't donate, remember that you can simply spread it to friends or family. It's that simple, or post it on some social media platform. That's all it takes to spread the message. If you even consider donating a even tiny percentage, thank you so much, because that will make a huge difference in his daughter's lives. With that, let's continue with the video. So it all mainly began a few years ago when Timothy came out with a statement saying that Melanie SA'd her. She was basically run off the internet by Melanie's fan base, and she recently made a reappearance and published a video discussing her experience with Melanie's fan base and what really happened to her after she came out with this statement.
Speaking out against my ruined my life, and I'd like to talk to you about it.
And I'm just going to quickly give a background to like the 2% watching that don't know who Melanie is. I know most of you do, but I just want to be nice to those who don't, so please just be patient. It'll take like 20 seconds. Melanie's basically a pop artist. She's been very, very popular. Her main hits, like her top hits, are Dollhouse, Pacify Her. You've probably heard a few of her songs before on the radio or something. Like, she has had some very big hits in the past.
Melanie has disrespected indigenous culture.
But right now, I literally cannot get away from videos saying she did this, saying she did that, saying she did this. It's all over the place. It's no longer simply just Timothy. It is so many other things. So I felt like I needed to make a video breaking it down, because I'm not the only one who has this on my For You page. A lot of other people are probably wondering what's going on. And I mean, I feel like one video kind of discussing it all could help a lot of people understand the situation and if they want to support Melanie or not.
Unfortunately, this was enough for 99% of her fans to take what she said as truth and deem me a liar.
Before either side gathers their pitchforks and comes for me for the 15th time, I'm simply going over the accusations made, because there are a ton of them, and I feel like there needs to be one video just going over them. So it all started a while ago when Timothy made an accusation about Melanie, saying she had SA'd her when they had met up one time. And this sparked a lot of controversy, and a lot of people turned against Timothy. Timothy herself has claimed multiple times that right now, today, is the most support she's ever gotten. In the past, she got rarely any support, and her life was basically destroyed because of this accusation she made towards Melanie. She would come on to TikTok and make a video discussing what had happened to her after that accusation, and now she posts regularly but turns off the comments due to the fan base constantly spamming the comments.
Whether you know who I am or not, I ask you to please listen to my story. If you do recognize me, then you haven't heard from me in a couple of years, and that's because I was effectively run off the internet. You also may have heard that I admitted to lying, or that it was proven that I lied. Neither are true. After my initial statement describing in detail what happened, my mother issued a statement in response. She used the sentence, "She never said no to what we chose to do together."
She then goes on to discuss how everything of hers was leaked, her address. She was D to the deed in every single way. Her family phone number, her phone number, all of this very, very private information was leaked. And this would spark more of a discussion on TikTok once again after all those years of her being off the internet.
Anything I attempted to do was infected with this story. Googling me results in many first-page results calling me a liar. The people who hated me took it upon themselves to ruin every opportunity for me. Partnerships with brands, modeling opportunities, they were all flooded with comments saying I lied about SA. In addition to this, my home address, phone number, and family's phone numbers were all leaked.
And I'm not gonna lie, I believe everything that she's saying in this segment. Even though this all happened back in 2017, I was about 15 at the time, and I remember the toxicity of the fandom.
And you're probably thinking, Coco, this is old news. Why are you bringing this up? Like, this kind of went down a few months ago. Why are we still discussing this? And I know I'm going to get those comments. Well, it sparked more of a discussion about Melanie Martinez's fandom toxicity in general, and people started making videos about it, and then they started talking about other things. They started saying she was a bad singer in the first place. In fact, I found a TikTok that was just recommended to me about how bad Melanie's singing is, showing her on stage singing with like 300,000 likes. I could not imagine that having 300,000 likes a few years ago. It just seemed like everyone supported Melanie. Even like, it's just times have changed a bit on TikTok.
Melanie has disrespected indigenous culture.
And all of a sudden, I'm getting recommended all these videos, and then there's this one saying she disrespected indigenous culture, and it shows her messing around and dancing with an indigenous object, and then later goes on to explain that that's like sacred, it's very rare, and it's getting harder and harder to get. I believe that there's copyrighted music in the background of like the discussion, so I can't really show too much of it, but I think you kind of get the idea. The video shows it. So that's another accusation that has recently been made, and it has a decent amount of likes, and all the comments are supporting the person in the video. Well, I'm sure not all, but all the top ones are.
Melanie deliberately knew what she was doing in regards to her themes surrounding her child character and her this character multiple times.
Seriously, Melanie may be one of the most controversial artists of all time, because this is all I see on my For You page right now. Like, literally comment if I'm the only one, if this is just me, but like, she's all I see right now. And here's another thing people are saying right now about her, is that she is, you know what, children, and that's kind of like her theme, or that's been her theme in the past, and that just simply isn't appropriate. And if true, obviously it isn't.
So this is a dress that she wore for her Pacify Her music video. If you saw one of my last TikToks, I did speak about that music video. Here is another shot of the dress. So I was able to find information on this dress from the Crybaby Amino. This was posted back in 2017. There's multiple pictures of it, and it describes where she got it from. Oh, she got this dress from this Etsy right here. Do you notice something? ABDL clothes. Adult, baby, sissy, little is what ABDL stands for.
And another video was made recently, this one, which got a very decent amount of attention, 44,000 likes, so it was a decently popular video. And they kind of proved that Melanie knew what she was doing when she bought the baby outfit, or because the website she bought it from was directly called you know what. I feel like I can't go too in depth because YouTube keeps on demonetizing all the videos where I like even come close to saying certain words, but I think you know what I mean because I just showed you the video. But it wasn't all hate. There were still a lot of loyal supporters that kept on posting videos saying that they would continue to support Melanie.
Listen to my Lana Del Rey, because I hope y'all know Lana Del Rey is not canceled in this household.
But a lot of loyal fans would recently leave due to cheating accusations. I know, it just keeps going and going and going. And I know I'm going to get some comments saying, oh, yeah, one person left. No, people were legitimately burning the merch and they were throwing it in the trash and filming it. It was like a serious situation on TikTok for a while. If you didn't have it, you probably didn't know. I don't know how it was on YouTube Shorts, but on TikTok, it was a whole thing.
Meanwhile, everyone immediately believed Verde based on a vague Instagram story with no proof.
So, I don't know why, but as this guy kind of said, when Timothy first came out with her statement years ago, no one believed her. She was run off the internet. All this horrible stuff happened to her. But recently, a boyfriend came out with a statement. Okay, that's an exaggeration. He just said something on his Instagram story, and everyone ran with the idea that Melanie had cheated on him.
It's a stark double standard. Timothy, a woman who tried to tell her story, was immediately dismissed, ignored, bullied, and doxxed just for speaking up. Yet when Verde made his claim, people immediately ran with it and decided Melanie was a cheater, even though Verde never actually said that. He simply stated that she moved on quickly and that he never cheated on her, which some fans interpreted as implying that she had cheated on him.
Credit goes to Rob Media for the short clip. Basically, as he says perfectly, it was all based off of an Instagram story, so very, very brief, and I could see you interpreting never cheated on her either as like, hey, she cheated on me, but like that could mean a lot of things too. That could mean I treated her really well, and she thought I cheated. Like, it could mean a million things. So jumping to the conclusion that Melanie definitely cheated on him and running with that and burning merch just seems very, very dumb. It's like, that's, of all the reasons, that's the reason you're going with. That's what you're mad about. A very, very, like, vague statement.
Instead of arguing on social media and posting those Instagram stories, Melanie and Verde should just talk to each other. But oh my god, Melanie Martinez fans went crazy over this. So let me explain. Those fans did not give a f that Melanie Martinez has SA allegations multiple essay allegations.
That video credit goes to Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. So basically, I can't really summarize it anymore for you. There are lots of videos on it. Lisa has a 50-minute long video on the entire situation, but I'll just summarize it. It was a screenshot of a story that started this drama. Very, very vague. So we don't actually know if he cheated, if there's cheating involved or not. Hot take incoming. I think that her fans should be concerned about other controversies instead of a cheating one that's, again, very vague and there's really not any evidence at all or really any actual statement. It's just a vague story that sounds kind of sarcastic. So that's that drama. There you go. Thanks. I saved you an hour of researching. With that, let's move on to the next accusation I've discovered through TikTok.
Aside from the disgusting allegations, these prices are criminal all by themselves.
I'm sure a lot of you already know about this. She's been selling NFTs lately, and in the past she sold candles, and that sparked a lot of controversy. She has been known to have a lot of controversy surrounding her merch and her ticket sales because her stuff is very, very high priced. In fact, even on her official TikTok, she gets a lot of views and a lot of likes, but under the one where she's talking about the release of her candles a while ago, all of the comments, well not all, but a lot of them were complaining about the prices. Even her own fans were very, very annoyed.
Just got home from the Melanie Martinez portals and kinda upset about how the VIP meet and greet was AI generated. Also, I didn't even get my VIP merch. So to be fair, at the end of the day, she said she had a good time at the concert.
This video was made by Haley, and I saw it about a year ago. It's kind of an old video, and I remember at the time, all the comments were against Haley. They were all defending Melanie, but the comments have switched since then. Now they are all siding with Haley. So that's just something I noticed, which is kind of strange. They weren't all hating on her, but they were kind of defending Melanie before, and now they're more with her. So it shows that tides are slowly changing with Melanie. And I mean, that's not me saying, oh, I hate Melanie. Yes. What I'm saying is that's not a opinion. That's a fact. More and more people are turning against her as more and more controversies unfold. Melanie's meet and greet and her concerts were criticized for being too short, which a lot of people said that was because she has to wear that suit, and that is very, very hot. And her meet and greet, because it was AI generated, which I can agree that is kind of annoying. Meeting an AI generated Melanie isn't really the same as meeting the real Melanie. But again, you can watch Haley's video. She really goes over that.
So there were so many people, but when she started to perform, everybody was just screaming and screaming. Nobody was singing, and I was just
And another video that I've seen through Haley, and I've seen on TikTok as well, but I just used Haley's because it was just easier to access because I couldn't find the other one, is the accusation that she kind of just gives up on her audience and she just stops caring and just gives up mid-performance. And here's someone who said that, but they kind of blame the audience for it because Melanie was getting frustrated in multiple performances and she kind of would give up midway through. So a lot of people were saying she didn't care about her audience, but this guy kind of seemed to defend her. He was kind of saying that it was the audience's fault because they were kind of having a lack of energy. And obviously, this isn't really the biggest controversy. It's not that big of a deal, but I just brought it up because, I mean, why not? It's another one to add to the list, I guess.
Before I move on though, I want to read this comment I read about Melanie's AI generated meet and greet. Oh my god! I thought the AI picture was free! I went to a BTS concert back then and theirs was free. That is insane. Yeah, it's a photo booth kind of thing and you can choose your member and it prints out and everything outside the venue. You don't even need a ticket. And when I first saw this comment, I was like, no way, that's real.
So kind of off of what I said before, the whole AI generated photo thing was a huge deal because it was supposed to be this whole meet and greet. You meet Melanie, but instead you got to write a note to her and you got to take a photo with an AI character. And a lot of people, once again, in Haley's comment section were kind of disagreeing with her. They were saying, hey, I met Melanie and stuff like that. So I don't really know because it's just hard to know exactly what the truth is. But if this is true that they met up with all they got was an AI figure to talk to and take photos with, and then they got to write on a note to Melanie, that is kind of sad and depressing. But yeah, once again, I feel like I just don't know because I wasn't there, and multiple people are saying different things. Some are saying it was a wonderful experience. Others are saying I was ripped off. So at the end of the day, I don't think we know enough about this one. Sorry.
All of this information has been available for the past 7 years since the start of it, and we've been basically spoon-feeding it to you. I have 2 videos on it with hundreds of thousands of views, and in those comments, there are hundreds of Melanie Martinez fans saying, no, this didn't happen. I remember in 2017, right after Timothy issued her statement, the way she was attacked, harassed.
As more and more accusations come up against Melanie, more and more people have issued statements about how toxic her fan base truly is. And I do agree that sometimes they are very, very toxic. I'm not saying every Melanie fan ever is the worst person on earth, but some of them are very, very bad. I don't care how much you hate someone or how much you love an artist or stan someone. You cannot give away personal information about someone accusing something about someone you like. That is never okay. It is never okay to send them these threats. It is never okay to leak their private information.
I remember the way people ignored the other person who said that Melanie did something similar to her. I remember the fake screenshots coming out in real time.
Okay, I don't even look for Melanie Martinez on TikTok or follow any of her fans, but I have seen videos with a lot of likes praising these fake screenshots that are so obviously fake. Like, I saw one by Timothy on Twitter saying, "I lied about everything. I'm a big liar." And it was like, "We won the war." And it had a lot of likes once again, and the comments were buying it. So it's like, you're going to buy an obviously fake screenshot, but you're not going to listen to the multiple victims. It's just there's so much bias going on. That's something that annoys me. I always want to look at the facts and I want to look at the evidence, but I don't like bias, which is very obvious in this fandom at times. I feel like that isn't a crime to say that there is some bias going on. And faking screenshots because you really like an artist, reminder that this artist doesn't know you exist. Your life could be over tomorrow and she wouldn't cry because she wouldn't know you exist. Yet you are doing all this crazy stuff for her. Girl, she doesn't know you exist. You're giving away private information about somebody because you stan her so much. Once again, she doesn't know you exist. It's just such a weird parasocial relationship. You gotta admit that some of these fans are very, very toxic. I'm not coming for every single person that enjoys her music. I'm just saying the ones that are giving away private information and faking screenshots, that is so weird. And just go outside and touch some grass, please, instead of harassing people. There's just so much bias going on, and I get it. There's someone you really, really look up to. You had an account, you bought merch, you went to her concert. You don't want it to all go away because of this one person making this accusation. Well, two now, but these two people, you don't want it to ruin everything for you. You love this woman. You want to defend her with your life. But at the end of the day, you need to remember that you need to listen to both sides, and you just can't let your bias get ahead of you, because we have to respect everyone in this situation. We can't just let the person we like better have all the space and the spotlight and be biased for them. In a lot of these type of cases, there isn't actual evidence. It's hard to get evidence in these situations. So at the end of the day, the audiences that are watching, or the people that watch this go on, are either going to believe the victim, trust what the victim has to say, or they're going to follow who they like better. And I get it. It's annoying. You really, really like this person, and now someone comes out and there's no evidence. They're making a statement, except that Melanie admits they met up, and Melanie says she didn't say no to the things we agreed to do. And it's just, at the end of the day, you believe someone or you don't. That's just what it comes down to. Once again, I understand the fans' frustration. They are mad. They don't want this one person to absolutely destroy their favorite person's reputation. That simply does not give you an excuse to give away her personal information and bully her off of the internet. We must respect everyone in this situation. That just should not be this insane take that should get me under fire. I feel like that should not be an insane take, that we should just respect everyone and listen to what everyone has to say.
I remember people using her neurodivergencies against her. I remember people creating fake accounts. I remember when she eventually drove off the internet, so she only had one private account, people finding it and then jumping in to harass her on there. I remember the way none of y'all gave this woman peace because you like Melanie Martinez.
And at the end of the day, these are the same people that are going to go home and they're going to say, believe the victim, and they're going to be all for this, all for feminism, all for the Me Too movement, until it's their favorite artist. And there just is a bias here. I'm sorry, but there's a bias for the fandom. There's a bias. There's always a bias in humans, but there's just such a strong bias here. And just the harassment just is so disgusting in every single way. Whether you believe Timothy or not, the harassment is completely unacceptable. The things they did to her are completely unacceptable. So I went on a little ramble there, but back onto the topic, you can see that more and more people have been coming out with videos defending Timothy. And as Timothy said in her own words, for the first time, which I'll show you that clip in a minute, for the first time, she's actually being defended. And people are saying that she's still obsessed and stuff, and she also replied to that, but she is simply saying that she's glad that she's finally getting support after 8 long years of everyone turning on her, everyone hating on her, everyone, she says, harassing her. But if you thought the controversy and the criticism towards Melanie ends there, you'd be wrong. It just keeps going, and we're going to get into the rest of it soon. And if you're appreciating the video so far, please leave a like. For some reason, my likes have been really, really low. My views have been decent, but my likes, not so much. So I don't know if you guys just aren't liking the videos or something, but please leave a like. And with that, let's continue. A lot of fans have criticized Timothy for not going to the police and instead posting on social media. I haven't found a statement Timothy has made on specifically that. If you do, please send it to me, or I don't know how you would send it to me. Please mention it in the comments if she said something. I feel like she's probably said something about that, but that is a criticism I've heard a lot. And I simply don't know enough about essay cases to determine if that's like an actually good argument or if that's a really bad argument. So I would really like to hear guys' thoughts on that, because I simply, once again, don't know enough about essay when it comes to the court of law. And I don't know exactly how her fan base has become, like what they've become now, but I have seen a lot of them switch to other artists. Like they will transition their 1,000 or 2,000, 10,000 follower account on TikTok to a different artist like Olivia Rodrigo. I've seen that happen, and I've also seen some of them still continue to support her art, but they say they don't like her as a person anymore. And a lot of them, they've become more scarce overall. Her fan base is slowly seeming to decrease because of all these controversies after controversies. She still does have a lot of people that support her, but it seems to be in decrease because I just see a lot of her fans coming out and saying, yeah, we don't support her anymore, sorry. And before her fans come for me, like I know they will in my comment sections, remember that these are her own fans saying this. Her own fans are the ones saying that her fan base is dying. Where do you think I'm getting this information? On TikTok. Her fans are posting videos saying, her fan base is dying, I don't know what to do, people aren't showing up at her concerts, blah, 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 blah. Her fans are the ones kind of panicking because they're saying her fan base is dying. So this is not coming from me saying, ha, 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 Melanie, you're dying, your fan base is over. No, it's her own fans saying that the fan base is dying. Her fans are the ones burning the merch. Her fans are the ones switching the accounts. Once again, her fans are the ones saying her fan base is dying. So I'm just looking at everyone's perspective in this situation. I'm not just looking at the people defending Timothy. I'm looking at her own fans, and a lot of them are turning on her due to the different controversies she's been in. I just hope that more and more, if her fan base does continue to grow or continue to decrease or whatever happens to it, I just hope that it becomes less toxic. Because I remember when Brad Tasted Music, I used to use this music app and he was like the top user. He posted videos about her critiquing her music and he got D-threats for critiquing her music. And yes, he was a little rude about it. He used like mean words to describe her. But like, seriously, dude, like sending D-threats to him and his wife for this, like the fan base at this point, like a lot of them are toxic. A lot of the people in her fan base are very, very toxic. It could be like 1 out of 1,000 that are extremely toxic, but that's all it takes for someone to get a D-threat. It only takes one toxic person. So it may not be her entire fan base. It may only be a small portion, but they make a loud minority. Like they are loud and they are open about their support for her in a very, very intense way. So if you're part of her fan base and you like know how toxic they are, let me know in the comments so I can have a better idea. But all I know is they're infamous for sending D-threats to anyone who criticizes Melanie. Because once again, it could literally be 1 out of 10,000 for all we know. But loud minorities are loud. Like if there's someone that stands her and they want everyone to know, they will let everyone know. So maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it's only a few that are extremely toxic, but I've just heard things, even from her own fan base, that people inside the fan base are not the nicest.
The actual lives of survivors come second to your parasocial relationships with these celebrities. And if y'all want to actually support survivors, you should not require a survivor to come back on the internet.
Because yes, there isn't a million pieces of evidence that directly support Timothy, but there also isn't evidence that this didn't take place. Melanie has admitted that they did do stuff together, but she said that she consented, that Timothy consented. So overall, it's just an argument over words, and there just isn't enough evidence to prove that Timothy is lying, but at the same time that she's telling the truth. So it really just depends on how much someone stands Melanie or how much someone truly believes in the whole believe the victim movement.
No, there's no way she did that. Absolutely not. What do you mean, how do I know? The victim's a proven liar. Well, they mixed up their story one time, and then I just sort of ran with that. But it's the same. I'll let you know, I was questioning my moral high ground for a second, and then I listened to a manic middle schooler talk down to me like they had a medical degree for 4 hours, and I feel a lot better about it. Look, I'm not an idiot. She would never do that, okay? She would never do that.
Another argument I have seen a lot by some Melanie fans is that she would never do that. She could never do something like that. And it's again the parasocial relationship that just is so wrong because you don't know Melanie, you've never met her. Same as you don't know Timothy. It's just like a lot of people, fans and non-fans of Melanie, are just forming these parasocial relationships with these people that don't know they exist. I am not exaggerating. I've seen that comment so many different times and it's gotten a decent amount of likes. She would never do that. Melanie would never do that. Melanie couldn't do that. And it's just like, you don't know her. You just know her music. I get it. Some of her music, you like the messages, you like that stuff, but you still don't know her.
I was a small musician at the time, and after speaking out, gained tens of thousands of followers. While there were some supporters, the majority of the followers were people who actively hated me.
At the end of the day, it just really comes down to if you believe Timothy or if you believe Melanie. And that's that. I can't make you believe something, and I'm not going to give my personal opinion. All I'm saying is I completely condemn the doxing Timothy and all of her personal information and all of that. I condemn that. You should never do that to anyone who speaks out on any situation, no matter if you believe them or not. That's just not appropriate. If I were to say who I truly believe in this situation, I would have a bunch of comments defending themselves on their opinion and blah, 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 and I just feel like that's not worth it. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to change their mind on what I have to say. You have to form your own opinion. I've shown you the different things that are claims made against Melanie, and at the end of this video, you have to make the decision. I can't make it for you. You decide. Is Melanie someone you want to support, or is she someone you don't want to support? That's really something I can't control. That's what you will decide, and I just gotta let you do that. I can't hack your mind and make you agree with me. So there's no use in giving my actual opinion, because I just feel like I can give my opinion on things that everyone should agree on, like don't attack and harass, like doxing people that talk about this type of stuff and come out with this information, because you will scare, even if we were on the circumstance where we have irrefutable evidence that Timothy is lying, then we're still scaring victims in the future, if you get what I mean. They're going to be scared to talk about a celebrity that did something to them, because they're not going to want to have what happened to Timothy happen to them. So just remember that what you do today to a victim will affect victims in the future. Again, it's not automatically grab your pitchforks and run for that celebrity and just trust everything they say. No, you should, of course, examine what they say and check for evidence, check for something, check for as much evidence as you can find, obviously. But what I'm saying is that we just have to be careful when someone speaks out, whether we think they're lying or not, because it likely will have a major effect on people that want to speak out in the future. It may make those people want to hide and not speak out, because what Timothy went through, no one should have to go through. That's just awful. And I mean, people are not going to want to speak out now.
And while I wish I was the type of person with the confidence to say the haters and stick it out, I'm just not. I'm sensitive and not self-confident and never have been. And this made it so much worse.
And it is sad that all the comments replying to this, you can see 60,000, not all, okay. I would say about half. Half of the comments are just saying streaming portals, and you can do with that knowledge what you want. So now let's go back onto Melanie as a person overall. Other than the obvious reason of her songs being very catchy and her being her just standing out overall, I think there is a major reason why she's so popular and why she sparks so much controversy. She knows how to be creative. She knows how to be unique, to be outstanding. She's not ordinary at all when it comes to music. Her songs, there's nothing crazy, outstanding, brand new that she's coming with, which of course isn't a bad thing. Most pop stars don't have a brand new technique of music. That's very rare. But she always does something unique in her videos. She has a unique, crazy style. She does weird facial expressions, and that is very, very smart. It's a smart way to gain a fan base. It's a smart way. So I will give her that. She is very, very, very intelligent when it comes to marketing her music.
Once she was just a shy teenager performing at a talent show called Voice to have a chance to become a famous musician. And now she's one of the most successful and famous artists in modern time. Her most recent album Portals came out in 2023 and is still popular to this day. This album was the first thing that she released after taking a 3-year long break.
And my opinion on her music obviously doesn't affect my opinion on the allegations and stuff. That's just separate, because a lot of people separate that. I already said, but I don't really listen to her music. And I do know some people who do, and I don't hate them. I don't care. You listen to your music, you do that. Back onto the point I made earlier, I just felt kind of moving away from the controversies and talking about Melanie as a character to kind of end the video, hopefully on a less, heavy note. Maybe, I don't know. She does know what she's doing when she comes to marketing. I, once again, have to give her that. On the internet and in general, in most things, people don't realize that if you're creative and unique, it really, really helps. Sure, in some ways you have to fit in, her music style, it has to be most pop music. But in other ways where she can be creative and it doesn't affect affect her negatively, really, other than getting some hate for the portals. She got a lot of hate for that. That was another controversy I was going to talk about, though I decided to just skip over that because it's not really a controversy. People were just saying she fell off after portals, but it's like, yeah, I'm sure most of you have seen that, and that's, once again, not really a controversy. But back onto my point, people don't realize that being creative in music and on the internet, while at the same time maintaining like a average, it doesn't really make sense. But maybe one day I'll be able to word things better. But you kind of get what I mean. In the right areas, you need to be average and you need to like meet those average standards and not stand out. But in areas where it won't affect you negatively and it can help you, you should be creative. And Melanie understands the balance. Like, she's just creative enough that it's not going to affect like her music standards, but at the same time, she knows how to like reach her limits. So it is kind of cool to see someone expressing themselves like that. So that is something I'm going to end this video off on. So maybe some of us believe in separating the music from the artist. Maybe some of us believe Melanie is innocent. I don't know. I honestly don't really care about our opinions at the end of the day because we're all just going to stick to ours anyway. I can't convince you if I give you my true opinion on the situation. But what I can do is show you the different controversies and let you form your own opinion. Is Melanie innocent in all of these, or is she guilty and you don't like her or won't support her? I have no control, and just giving my opinion and not showing much would kind of just be manipulating, I feel like. I don't know if I said the word right. Manipulating, something like that. I feel like that would just be wrong, so I felt like it'd be better this video just to show the different dramas coming up with Melanie, the different controversies and the different situations, and some way, way, way more serious than others, and just let you form your own opinion, and let me know in the comments. Please be respectful. It's not that hard. Just please, if you are part of Melanie's fandom, please prove the allegations wrong of the toxicity in the fandom. Please be respectful in the comments, be polite, and if you enjoyed the video, donate to the GoFundMe or spread it to friends and family. Thank you. If you made it this far, you are actually the best. See you in the next one. I better see you in the next one. I'm not joking, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.